Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Strategic Priorities Community and Intergovernmental Cooperation Committee here meeting for Tuesday, October 3rd. And I thank everyone for coming in on shorter notice. We were trying to get this meeting and with conflicting schedules and conferences going on that we are involved in. It was a little bit of a juggling act, but thanks to everyone for your patience and cooperation. Certainly appreciate it. So just in terms of call to order, I'd like to call the meeting to order. Any declarations of conflict of interest? Seeing none, could I have a motion to approve the agenda? Moved by Mayor Brown, seconded by Deputy Mayor Yankoff. All those in favor? Yep. Councillor McKinnon?
Yep.
In favor? Okay. So we're going to move right to the reports and discussion, and it is centered around the Housing Accelerator Fund, and I'm going to pass it over to Sue Fraser to help guide us through the next phase of this report. Sue?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you to everyone for joining us, getting us all together for this specific agenda item. As the Chair mentioned, it's on the Housing Accelerator Fund application that we remitted back in June. And I'd like to acknowledge both Donna and Janice in the room here today who have played a leadership role in putting this application together. As you can see in the report that's prepared, you have in your package the previous report that went to the committee and on to council in June that outlined the 7 initiatives that we applied for. In September 25th, we received a letter from the Honourable Minister for Housing and Infrastructure, Sean Fraser, who responded to the application where the final vetting was taking place and articulated some very specific considerations that he wanted to bring forward to council in amending the application, if you will. So we actually had a conversation with his representatives and also our own Member of Parliament, Sean Casey, in a Teams meeting on September 29th to discuss their letter with respect to the asks that were in that. And at the end of the day, it was determined that we could get to a desired outcome, but maybe just on a different path than what they were suggesting in that letter. So what we've done, and thanks to Janice Harper again for leading on this charge, is we believe that we've captured a reasonable response to the minister's letter to ensure that what we're doing moving forward is consistent with the path of our official plan and the legislative requirements around working through the official plan and public consultation in particular. So if you like, we can just move directly through the backgrounders into the actual letter from the minister and then the letter where we've drafted to respond to the minister. And I'd like to specifically note that in the letter from the minister, the only item of the 3 bullets that you see in that letter, I'll give you a minute to get there if you're not already there, 3/4 of the way through the minister's letter, you'll see 3 bullets. The first one being adopt 4 units as of right citywide. And that for us was the only real red flag in that it would be almost virtually impossible for us to do that carte blanche without considering all the other matters that come before us through the official plan process on risk mitigation around flooding, climate change, our 500 lots, all of those considerations that have to be factored in before you just unilaterally adopt as of right, and the language in particular citywide. So that was the basis of our conversation that we had with his team on our call. So in our response, and you'll see it in your package dated October 3rd, Janice has aptly captured what we are prepared to do in counter to this as of right citywide, and it's outlined in 1A and B. And the first one being to allow for more options and flexibility. The city would propose that we can do the equivalent of 4 units citywide. We can achieve that through a net residential density, excluding non-residential areas such as open spaces and parks. And in turn, we would focus on directing developments to our main corridors and nodes to achieve a density equivalent to 4 units per lot. So we get to the same outcome, just a different path. And in B, it speaks to the allowing the city the flexibility it needs to ensure that increased density is facilitated in areas where it can be supported by infrastructure, transit, and is not at risk of flooding. And just to this point, I think it's important to note that the Minister, Sean Fraser, has sent out a very similar kind of letter to a number of other municipalities already that are on file for the HAF funds. And the language is very similar. So the minister obviously wants as of right included as an option or as a requirement in the funding application, and other municipalities are currently trying to address how they go about doing that as well. So we're not being singled out. It's something that we're seeing right across the board, across the country in the applications and the responses to the applications. So that's the as of right piece. The other ask in the 3 bullets in the minister's letter were around increasing densification at our post-secondary institutes, UPEI and the downtown Holland College campus. And our proposal to do that is outlined in A, B, and C, where you'll see that Janice has outlined that the city would propose to enable 4-story buildings within an 800-meter radius, within 10 to 15-minute walk of the campus, and that we could propose 6-story buildings permitted along the corridors and nodes as of right, and that we could revisit the former experimental farm property if the will was there with federal government and our First Nations to look at doing some sort of development with respect to a portion of that property closest to the university. And the third one being the Holland College campus could consider redevelopment as long as it was redeveloped in keeping with flood risk requirements, and also considering 4-story buildings. With respect to the third bullet that was in the minister's letter, we already have an initiative in our application that speaks to the ADUs, and we believe, already addressed that in our application, so that's just articulated again. And we also agree that if there's any restrictive, subjective measures or language in the official plan when we're doing the new plan, we'll make sure that builders understand what the rules of engagement are, and our language is very clear on that front. So that's in a nutshell. I know that's a lot of information, but that's in a nutshell the letter we got and our recommended letter in response. And the path forward would be for this committee to if you're amenable to the letter as it is, that you would approve that to go forward to council at the next monthly meeting of council, and then the mayor could actually send the letter of response from mayor and council to our minister.
Okay.
I speak to it?
Yeah, Mayor Bryan, you can go ahead.
So I want to thank our Director of Community Services and Sue Fraser, Janice Harper, and Donna, and our CAO for putting this together in such a short period of time, because their time is of the essence. And the discussion we had last week, Sue, I referenced 2B, the Agricultural Canada former experimental farm. That to me is a non-starter, because you were around the table back in 2000, 2001, when the whole discussion was about a new aqua arena facility, and the initial site was to be on Belvedere Avenue, that portion of experimental land just south of Belvedere Avenue between Mount Everett Road and University Avenue. And there were, I think, 5,000 signatures that said, no, go somewhere else. So we did end up at a better place, joining up with the Young Canada Sports or Field House, and now we have a 4.4 acre facility all under one roof at UPEI. And Mr. Chair, again, if you look at the Uplands Consulting group that started off our public consultation in early March, they did bring up the whole issue of identifying 3 corridors University Avenue, Malpeque Road, Longworth Avenue, St. Peter's Road, and North River Road from Capitol Drive to, I think, NASA or Belvedere. So they've already been identified in what's being proposed. So this is not new. I just have concern about 2B, and I think that everything else will work very well in what we want to do with this application. And Sue, do you have the estimated value of what we could be looking at if accepted for this accelerator fund? Mr. Chair, can I ask that question?
Sure, go ahead, Sue.
It's my understanding the allocation set aside for us would be $6.5 million.
And that's again, through the chair to Sue. So the 6.5 million would be geared to or channeled to our planning, development, heritage department to provide more resources to look at all these issues when it talks about density, which we know is very important. We know we have to do it. And I think we've been in front of it, and this is just another example. So again, thank you to staff for bringing this forward on such a short notice. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Anyone else? Deputy Mayor Yankoff, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. And I just wonder if there shouldn't be, and maybe it's clear in there, but to make it crystal clear that we still have not completed our public consultation with the public yet. And it's really important for us to say that this could be something we can do, but we still have not completed the public consultation aspect of our official plan yet. So, it's that we don't want to put the cart before the horse, but, and maybe that language is in there, and maybe somebody could speak to that. I just want to make sure that when I'm reading it, that we're not missing that piece in there. Just, yeah. Anyways, thank you.
Sue, if you'd like to respond to that.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair, and through to you, Deputy Mayor. Certainly, that has been the overlying piece of the whole conversation moving forward. And in our application, the very first initiative is about advancing the official plan, the new official plan. That's the initiative of the first initiative of 7. But if you'll also refer to the very last paragraph in the letter, our draft letter, is that we do speak to it in the very last sentence, moving forward as part of a formal process to review and adopt a new official plan. And certainly an integral part of that is our public consultation piece.
Thank you very much for clarifying that.
Councillor McKinnon, did you have anything you wish to add?
No, Mr. Chair, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. So basically, we're looking for a motion to move this on to council, or we have to make a vote here to approve this, approve the letter, approve the letter that has been submitted, and to move that on to council. I don't know if there's a motion made
Moved.
or if we have anything.
I'll move it.
I'll second it.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, I just want to clarify for moving this forward that you're moving it forward with the exclusion of 2B.
No, 2B can stay there because that can be part of the discussion. But
I think, I would think that would have to remain as part of
no,
a
is-
larger discussion.
Okay, thank you.
Mr.
Would
Chair,
you mind?
again, they are from my own corporate experience
Yeah.
on this piece of property.
Which
so-
is good to
Yeah,
have.
so and Sue was there, Janice Harper was around at that time. She worked with planning, so we know the challenges that will take place on this property. As a former councillor said, it's our Central Park in Charlottetown.
Yep. All right, so could I have a mover to adopt the letter to move forward to council for future consideration? Moved by Mayor Brown
And I can second that.
and seconded by Deputy Yankoff, Deputy Mayor Yankoff. Any discussion on the motion?
Mr. Chair, again, I know that we have to get back to the capital cities meeting, but I just want to say that we've talked about density. We know that we have to address the density issue. The federal government is making it very poignant that we are moving municipalities toward that whole action council's taken action. This is a footprint to allow us to move forward. And again, as the deputy said, this runs parallel, synchronized with the overhaul, the comprehensive review of the official plan that will filter down into our zone and development bylaw. But I think we have to be the beacon to show that density is where we have to go, because we have scarce land surface or land on Prince Edward Island because of our size, and the municipality has to look at going up and going fatter in what we want to do with density. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Have a great day.
What's that? Have a great day. You okay? Thanks for coming. Any other comments? Okay, so all those in favor of the motion? Deputy Mayor, Councillor McKinnon?
All in favor, yep.
Okay, motion carried, 3-0. All right, any new business arising, anything anyone wants to add, new business? Councillor McKinnon?
Nope, I'm
Okay.
good.
Seeing no new business, a motion to adjourn. Moved by Deputy Mayor Yankov, seconded by His Worship.
Second it.
All those in favor? All right.
Thank you
for-
very much, Mr. Chair.
Thank you for coming. That concludes our meeting.